Hello. Welcome to Hot in the City. Normally, I have my backup people telling me prop in the background, but Pandiri doesn't want to prop me today. So I'm propping myself because Hot in the City. We're here today with my amazing people. Oh! Yes, I started here first when I moved to Gambia. Okay. So they are the most amazing team I worked with. Peace of Mind. We have my Sylvia.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Rizani.
Of course.
And Mrs. Monique, what it do? We're all up in here, gang. So we're gonna have a little chat today because it's Mental Health Month, Awareness Month. We've already had a part one about this conversation where we're very much lackluster would be the word I'm using. Like we're just relaxed about it because we didn't want to say anything that wasn't in alignment with what mental health stood for. So we were very much relaxed about it, trying to figure out where we landed and how our experiences have been affected, and how we've handled our mental health situations.
Mhm.
So this part two is basically to kind of help the community understand what mental health really is, what it could look like, and also what does mental health look like in Gambian community? Because I know you guys have background. You guys have been doing the work. I've watched us do it for 3 years, even though I was not there for the last year and a half because I was busy creating organs, So, so I was in the group chat, like supporting and giving hearts, that was my duty. But I've seen the work you guys have been doing, and it's been amazing from even the people that have traumatic experiences over even the last regime. You guys have been doing a lot of work.
Indeed.
A lot of work. It's been 4 years since I met you guys. It's been a lot of work. So I can't imagine what they did before that. Talk about when I entered. So we're going to have a little discussion on that and have a little background about what Peace of Mind does, what it stands for, and then just kind of have a little chat about it. So if you guys have any questions in the future, you can DM us and we'll be more than happy to send it to them and see if you can get a response. Thank you. Now let's get into it. So what is Peace of Mind? Sylvia, we'll start with you because give us your peace of mind.
That's fine. Thank you, Senavo. Thank you for inviting us. It's really a pleasure to be here and to have this nice conversation.
Likewise.
All together in this very important month because
Yes.
May is the Mental Health Awareness Month. So we are here also to spread some knowledge, some awareness, and make sure that Gambian citizen will be more and more aware of mental health. Yeah,
and have a little bit more open into dealing with their mental health issues. That is my expression. Be more willing to deal with your problems.
Get rid of the stigma
Yes.
and the taboos.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
be aware.
There's so much stigma when it comes to discussing anything related to mental health or even mental health conditions. And I believe that it's really important, especially and I believe it's our responsibility when we have such a platforms to have these conversations in all honesty and say what it actually is compared to what we want to say so that society feels comfortable digesting what it is.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I need the professionals here. Because me alone, what they taught me, I forgot. So I am not the reliable source here. Okay? I forgot. If you asked me 2 years ago, I got you. I remember everything from all the trainings we did. But now, I don't remember nothing. Nothing.
Maybe
So I was
some.
like, bring the professionals and let the professionals handle them. Because me, I will be here and be extra comedic relief. That's what I will be for y'all today. So how did you guys kind of meet? Because I know you wouldn't see Sylvia and you see Basiru, like they'll meet each other somewhere down the road and talk about mental health. So like, how did that come about? Because Basiru has a background in social welfare. So
Yes,
social work. So what's up?
Public health and social work.
And there we go.
Yes. So used to work for the Ministry of Health, and there was a graduation ceremony for the students of social work, and I represented the Fajukunda Major Health Center because the invitation was extended to Fajukunda Health Center, so I represented them. And there, I get to understand a little bit about social work. So I decided also to join the School of Social Work. And during my internship at the youth center, and that's where I met Sylvia while she was working as a psychologist at the children's village. So that's where we met. And at some point, she was kind of also supervising me. And later she said, look, I have a small contract at the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violation. That was the time when they established the Gambia Center for Human Rights Violation. So that's where we moved. And I think that's where I started also diverging with the Minister of Health, and we started or established the mental health and the psychosocial support unit of the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violation. And when that short contract ended, we say, why not we open up to the wider society? Because if you stay here, we are only limited to see people whose right has been violated by the former regime. But how many people are in the society? How many people are at the houses who are also going through a lot? So that's how also we extend, and then gradually we start having meeting, invited people until we set up Peace of Mind.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Peace of
Just
mind.
And,
Yes.
and they stand with that name. They stand with that name.
Yes.
Telling you
Yeah.
as someone like, because I remember when I was just moving, when Sainabu was, she lived in Bruford at the time. So I remember telling her, I was like, I want to do like something like related to mental health, because it was just around the time I was like, yeah, I'm going to change my major. I'm going to go into psychology. And I was like, my mom was, I was like, you know, I'm tired of America. I'm just going to move home. And then after that, I'll figure it out. I'll stay here for like 8 months and then I'll go back and go to school. That was my plan. I've been here 4 years. So we'll discuss that another time. You know, but like, I remember telling her this. She was like, so she was just passing and then she saw the signboard and then she took a picture and sent it to me. She said, I found you where you can go. I said, what are you talking about? She said, they're around my house somewhere. I don't know where it is exactly, but I saw a signboard. So my job is done. I've given you the information. You can do what you want with the information. So I remember seeing, I think I emailed Basiru. And then I was like, okay, so I want to know, like, how do I get about it? What do I do? Like, I want to, like, be an intern or something. Because, you know, I don't mind interning. Because I feel like you don't need to get paid off the bat.
Yeah.
I want to know what is happening first. Like, let me learn first. Because it was also very new to me. But I've gone to therapy in America and I've had the experience. So I was like, oh, my people need this. Because I've worked in Gambia. Like, I know just how much stress people deal with and they bring into work. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I might find the right profession for me. Yay. I'm like, I've been listening to people problems all my life. I might as well make money. You know? So I was like, that was intense. But I remember when I met you guys, I was like, I'm going to be here for a very long time. That was the first time my brain was like, I'm going to be here a while. I will never burn this bridge. This is the bridge I will be on. I like what I'm seeing and I liked what I heard. And so it's just like, I was like, Sylvia moved from Italy to come to little old Gambia? Sylvia, you know?
Imagine that my family members, they were questioning why you are going there. Everybody is coming here and you are going
You know? Honestly.
I said, well, you have a point, but yeah. Anyway, my husband is from here.
Oh,
And the idea was, yes, to raise the kids here in order to give them also this culture.
thank you, husband.
Yeah.
Thank you, kids.
Thank you,
we appreciate you. Thank you.
But I
'cause-
hope you also saw that it was needed.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, she did. She was like, okay, you guys need the help. I remember when like Sylvia was like starting to understand the demographic she was working with. And I was like, this is gonna be educational for all of us involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even me working with the Minister of Health for years now, I've met with a psychologist or a psychotherapist. And so meeting Sylvia was my first time, and also having the privilege to work with her also kind of widened my knowledge about what mental health is and what it is not. Yeah.
Oh, mashallah. So what would you
Yeah.
say mental health is? Because I know a lot of people don't have an actual understanding of what mental health is. They have mental health diagnosis they know of, like, you know, maybe some depression here or like, you know, just schizophrenia there. Even though they don't know the word schizophrenia, they just see crazy people in the streets,
Yeah.
you know? But like, those do exist here. They kind of know about it, but they don't know what actual mental health is and that it can affect every single one of us. It's just not the crazy outside. It's the crazy you're dealing with internally, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, how would you describe mental health? Not just the WHO definition, because I tried to read that out last time. It was so funny. It was so funny. But like, basically my question is, how's your view of what mental health is changed since working with people here?
Wow.
That's my question.
Okay, so let me just bring anyway the definition of the
Good
WHO.
afternoon.
Because I find it really interesting by saying that mental health is basically a state of well-being that just speaks about ourselves and how we move in the society, how we cope with stressors, how we contribute to our community, and how we deal well even with our primary needs, with our basic functioning. So it's obvious that we cannot be 100% all the time.
Yeah.
So it comes that mental health is basically like a continuum in which we are moving, and it's fluctuating, just like our physical health, right? We cannot always be completely fine,
Nah.
although we would like.
Like, oh yes, you would.
But yeah, so for the mental health is the same. It's just that if we don't know, it's harder. But like everything, right? If we don't know, we don't know how to
Yeah.
handle things,
True,
right?
true.
So we are here to just maybe hopefully give, basic information,
Yeah.
but really helpful so people can start to reflect
Understand.
and
Yeah.
understand that mental health is something that is with us. So we are here to talk about mental health, but we can talk about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And if we don't take care, nothing will move, and things can get worse, and we
Yeah.
might get sick
Yeah.
mentally. And
Yeah.
no one is immune.
Nobody.
So it's not that they are sick because they are roaming in the street and we are fine. Anyone can be there.
Yeah.
So it's time to also differentiate, right? Mental health from mental sickness.
Yes.
Because
It's
they are
also
different.
different.
So mental health is just like physical health. Mental illness is just like, having gastritis, having diabetes, having different sort of
Diseases, yeah.
sicknesses. They are treatable
Yes.
with the right treatment, the right
Yeah.
support. Of course, there is also some work to do when it comes to the root causes.
Yes.
And that
Oh,
is when, maybe therapy, counseling, and whatever can come.
into
the
it.
picture,
Yes. Well, we'll dive deeper moving forward into how that looks like, what a session might look like, and what counseling and therapy looks like, coaching, mentoring, and all the works. So we'll get back
Can
further
I-
into that. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add something to it. That's maybe more because here it's still a taboo to talk about your mental health, and physical health is visible mostly
Yeah.
if you have a wound. And simply said, like mental health or mental well-being are mostly like wounds inside.
Yeah.
That's not visible. So first you have to learn to acknowledge them, and then we can go to the step.
Yeah.
you
That
want
you.
to.
maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
when-
awareness is like most important that
Yeah.
you know that you are
That you have a
mental
problem.
that
Yeah.
you're in disbalance because you don't see it.
No.
Yeah, but we can see the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk about them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we.
So,
the
like,
symptoms first.
How to recognize when our mental health
It's declining,
disbalance.
and when
declining,
it's
yes,
going
before
up and
going
down.
to the
Because I remember the line that we have, the
Uh-huh.
continuum.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have like
Yeah,
the
keep it
image
in
in
our
my head.
minds.
Actually, we can share
Yeah.
the slides.
Okay. Yes.
And
I don't
can
know if
be
we have the
projected.
slides. If you guys have it with you, we can project that. Miss Yondetti, possibility. Slide of a continuum.
Even YouTube, you can find it.
Just that
sorry,
mental
Google.
health continuum.
Mental health continuum.
Oh, it's not connected on this. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'll do
Yellow.
it.
But
We
we
will
can
add
share
like a
it, yeah.
slide in the editing. and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
a picture of it so you guys
Yeah.
know what it looks like. Mr. Caesar. Ha. Gambian lateness will not escape us. But you were praying, so I'll let it go.
Great.
I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
So,
How you doing? I would introduce
Yeah,
you
how are you
again, but
doing?
you can watch the videos later and then find out. But that's Sylvia, Basiru, and Monique. This is Little Caesar, because he called himself Little Chaser. We told him that it's not a positive name. So I was like, you're not a chaser, you're an attractor. So we changed it into Little Caesar. But welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
The
you
sun
so
is hot.
much.
We appreciate you taking your time out of your beds.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. But Sylvia, so is it possible to have like a little background information on how you came into doing therapy, like studying therapy?
Yes, sure.
Yes, because I know Gavin said, what is her background? What did she do? How she have it? You guys, I already know what the conversation looked like, so we're not gonna deal with them. But just give us a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's very interesting because you might think when you start to look at psychology that you are doing this to study people or to understand people or to support people, but that at the end you will find out that it's first for yourself. Right?
No, honestly, yeah.
So I come from, let's say a normal family in Europe, and I didn't receive that emotional support, that emotional guidance. I actually had, some events in my life, including sexual harassment. So I went through many things, and I found myself struggling. I was even, putting myself into consume, some cannabis and do things. And at the end, psychology was a way for me to start really to study about human nature and to understand more about ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is how it came. But I realized after a while that it was more for myself than for other people. And the message is when you do this job, you need first work on yourself. So then you can be there for others. If not, doesn't make any sense.
No, I understand that part. Because I remember thinking, I want to learn it for myself. Like, I will help y'all eventually, but me right now, I'm a mess. Me needs to help. What is happening in my brain? Because something is off.
Of course.
So I get that. I understand that.
And then when I moved here, I was just surprised to see a lot of vulnerable categories, individuals, poverty, violence, whatever. And I started to look for a job. I didn't see even one position, for psychologists. I said, something is not okay.
Yeah.
And then, asking around, I saw that they were not professionals. So I said, maybe there is a gap. And maybe, yes, when we start to have the discussion with Basiru, we said maybe we can fill that gap.
Yeah.
Because our intervention is not medical. So we don't use medicine.
Yeah.
And we work more at a psychosocial level.
Yeah.
And then when it was to choose the name for the organization, I was just inspired by, this arrow, peace of mind, showing a direction. So meaning that peace of mind is not something that you can just have like that. You need to work for it. And that is how, the take care part comes when it comes to ourselves. Yes.
I like that. Okay, little poem trainees, we're here. We're clocking in. Say Sylvia giving us the
I think,
tea.
yes, and Sylvia also sharing a little bit about what she has gone through during childhood time. Also is in line with the this year theme. And that is in every story there's strength. So probably you might think that you just share a little thing, but at least it could be very powerful for someone.
Because I know a lot of us here, like Monique said, there's a lot of stigma when it comes to our mental health and discussing that even among our peers or even our family members. Because if you say I'm going through this and like it's looking a certain way, I hate to use it, but it's so true. They would actually rather be just like, okay, then what? Like we go through it, we're okay. Like they just kind of shrug it off and almost undermine your experience. And that has happened several times, even in my own household. And I've had to like bring it back. And I would always tell them like, no, this is not the response you should give anybody. Because it takes a lot for somebody to come and say, I don't think there's something right in my mind. To say there's something wrong with me. When somebody comes to you in that way, I think they should, as the individual receiving, you should be able to come at it with some kind of grace, with some thoughtfulness, with awareness, with intention of I'm going to listen and I'm going to like help to the best of my ability. That's why so basically I like, do a little bit of PFA, and just like kind of gauge how your friend is going through. Because some of us, we have friends that we know are at risk right now as we're speaking. Like we know people that like, okay, maybe I need to send you to a professional because this is a lot.
But I want to come in with that one. It's not always that they don't want to say it, but they are not aware. They know there's something wrong, but they cannot pronounce it. They have no idea. And then we come to the culture, which I don't want to dive into.
Girl, you can. We're going to
dive
into it. Because the culture also affects
also
how we...
self-awareness, like how do you even call these emotions? You're happy or you're sad, that's it. You are energetic or you are low, that's it. So sometimes I have clients as a life coach and they cannot pronounce their emotions, like what is going on. So it starts with awareness and then you can only help people who want to help themselves. So it's really the awareness first. It has to.
So how do we get that awareness though? Because like you can say, okay, it takes awareness, but in order for that to happen, you have to like sit down with yourself. A lot of people don't take the time to sit down with themselves.
Because it doesn't exist, what she said. It was not
Yeah.
here. So things like this,
Are helping.
podcasts like
Yeah.
Of
this
course.
are helpful. So,
We try.
Of course.
and
try.
we do a lot of self-aware workshop
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
Peace of mind is
It-
really
it's coming.
active. Yeah.
No,
It's
I
coming.
know
It's
because
coming
like
out of the
we've
closet.
had the beach events. We've
Yeah.
already even done the 6-month training still with
Yeah.
the social workers. That still stays in my
Yeah.
mind a lot
Yeah,
because
yeah, that
Health
was a
workers.
very
I
successful one.
I still think that training paid off more than any other training I've experienced since being here
Yeah.
because the people themselves changed. The people that
Yes.
were involved, they themselves changed, and in turn, they started changing the people they worked around. And that goes to what she's talking about, awareness. They started to have awareness and like, okay, so my job requires me to come with this X, Y, and Z. And I remember being there and like actually seeing
Yes,
them
yes.
absorb these informations. And the time we all had to put into creating those books. Ah, God, that was a season. That was a season. The printer still has my problems. That was a season for us. But it paid off because we legitimately
changes.
saw changes.
Mhm.
And we
That's
still
true.
talk about it to
Eye-openers.
this day. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still talk about it to this day. The question comes, how do we bring in that that awareness? Because yes, we can talk about it and people will be like, okay, but like, the average Gambian too is very lazy to do the research on like,
Yeah.
what are they talking about? How much deeper can I go in? They want you to do all the work and give them the access. And me, as you were saying, me too, I'm just as lazy, Sha. It's not happening. I did my work. Do your own. Do your own. The internet is
I
right
didn't
there.
get the last word. What did you say? Like,
Yeah. No, because they don't want to do the work. Because it's like
cannot do the
They are
work.
lazy.
they're lazy to do the work. Somebody has to do it for them
So
and then
you
explain
know
it.
that this laziness can also be a symptom, a sign
Yes.
that
Yes,
the
okay,
mental
that's
health
true.
is
That
not.
is true.
Maybe we can
Yeah.
ask somebody who's not in the mental health. Like,
Phil,
how would
yeah.
you reach out?
I
I
was
don't
like,
really reach out.
That's a good.
he said, I don't really
question.
reach out.
You're like a new
Let's
butterfly
go.
in here.
Why don't you reach out?
Not up.
He said, I really don't reach out. Why don't you reach out, Ibrahim?
Okay, that's
I don't really reach out. I just
no. It's just a general question, not really personal.
No,
But
yeah, I understand.
Gambian, like, how would you
So
reach
if you
out?
feel like, yes.
yeah, like how would most Gambian reach out for if they are stuck?
Now, me personally, like I don't really reach out. I know personally, I know something is off with me, something is wrong with me, but I just shake it up like it's normal. You understand what I mean? And that's what a lot of Gambians do. A lot of Gambians are here with mental health, but they don't really know. You understand?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't also have someone to talk to or someone to talk to and tell them, look, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. So just like what say, you just shake it up and be like, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's the case here, and that's what actually killing us, you understand?
Yes.
Yeah, you know why? Because
Yeah.
this means, to put things out there, they're off, right?
Under
And
the
then
Under the
carpet.
rug,
Yeah.
yep.
up.
He said,
And
sweep it
then
under the
one
rug.
day, things will start to come out, and that is when people comes to me and say, I don't understand what is going on, because for the whole life,
Yeah.
you were trying to,
Folks, we're back because NAWEC has to show itself every time that you try to do something good for this country. Every time we're on something good, this country will show itself. Every time. It's your own people that will make you enemy, that be your enemy society. I swear, NAWEC, I can't wait for you to get competition. I'm praying for your competition to fruition. But it's okay. So we're going to just get right back into it because, my people have things to do in their lives. I am free. Not everybody else is like that. So we're going back to right where Ibrahim was talking about how does he acknowledge he's going through things and how does he reach out? And he was answering that before we were rudely cut off again by NAWEC. I stand. Ibrahim. Why you just do me like that?
I mean, what was the question?
You said you don't
again?
reach out.
Yeah, I don't really reach out because you don't know who you should turn to. Because imagine turning to someone who have more mental health than you. How can they help you? You understand what I mean? They can't really help you.
Yes.
So I just be like, it's fine. Let me. Mostly the way I hide, I don't reach out. The things I do is to have that energy, be smiling, be laughing, making fun. But deep down, I know I'm going through a lot.
mask.
Yeah, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I do stuff, man.
So basically, like what Sylvia was saying, we're used to brushing things under the rug.
mhm.
So like, there's another terminology called masking, where you're just going about showing
Mhm.
everybody you're good.
Yeah, I'm
but
good.
internally,
Deep
you are dying
down,
inside.
yeah. If
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it back to my room, that's when everything kicks.
Comes-
Like I'm
yeah.
on my own now. Everything is silent.
Ghosting.
Yeah.
It's just you understand?
Don't worry, I guess. I
exactly.
guess.
Yeah,
Now
of
we-
course, the society is expecting us to do that, to
Yeah.
be smiling, to say that everything is fine, because
Mhm.
that makes things easier,
Easier.
but it's not in our nature.
Yeah, but it's easier for the society. And that's what it is. Because it's like we're suffering so that other people can feel comfortable.
Mhm.
And that is
People
insane.
pleasing.
Yeah, people pleasing. Like, that is insane to me. I'm like, I'm dying, but I'm dying because I want you to feel like I'm okay. I said it cannot be me. I gave up on that ideology. Like, my husband looks at me now, he's like, what happened to your people pleasing side? I said, it died. It's so dead. It does not, I don't even want it to fruition. And like, it went to a point like, I had to tell him he had those tendencies. And I said, you need to bring that back now.
But I think even
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know what people
So
pleasing
pleasing
is.
is-
That's
okay, so
again,
how would you describe
again,
people pleasing?
awareness again.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like
how would you describe people pleasing then?
Just giving
Putting
somebody
yourself
else-
last.
Yeah.
So people are always coming before you. The needs of
Hey.
people are always coming
Yes.
before yourself.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, that's everybody.
I was,
And
I
that
was,
is not sustainable.
I was
That is
actually
not
listening to I was listening to someone.
Mhm.
He was talking about mental health. He was like, because the culture, you don't talk about this stuff. So mostly, you know what people say, be like, oh, maybe someone did bad to me. I cannot feel myself. It's evil eye, spiritual stuff.
Stuff,
You
yeah.
understand?
Exactly.
But deep down, that's not the problem.
reason
You
why-
understand?
Because
No.
it's easier to put blame on other people and other things than to accept that maybe you had something to do with
Something.
why you're feeling how you're feeling.
Exactly.
And to take responsibility that you let somebody else's action determine your reaction. And that in itself is very hard for people to do, because it means you have to look into yourself and say, maybe I am the problem. And maybe I shouldn't have allowed somebody else to have this much power over me. And I could have talked about this or handled the situation differently. But like she said, it always comes back to awareness, because you have to know this about yourself to say, okay, this is a situation.
Yeah.
And
And then
you
we
know
talk
what I-
especially.
yes.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
And then we talk especially about people pleasing, eh? But I want to point out that mental disbalance is just a part of life. It's so normal.
Yeah.
It's so normal. So it's not always,
I need help.
yeah, maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I have to reflect myself and work on myself. Yes, you have to do the work yourself. But life is full of challenges,
Challenges, yeah.
and sometimes you get hit by a loss of somebody, or even a girlfriend who left you, or you have too much stress from work and it creates anxiety, sleeplessness. That's also all things.
That's
There's
just
no
life.
one to blame,
Yeah.
but it can create
Just
mental
life.
disorder. And if you have a mental illness, that's different. Dr. Sylvia knows that.
You say mental
About-
disorder and mental
Illness.
Disbalance.
illness.
Mental disbalance and mental illness.
Yes.
Or mental issues.
Yes,
and
mental issues.
illness.
You have also mental
So
illness.
illness is maybe
Schizophrenia.
schizophrenia, high
Psychosis.
depression,
Clinical
psychosis,
depression.
yeah, stuff like that.
psychosis.
Whereby
You don't
the
function
fluctuation
at all.
is today is a bad day and I'm feeling just a little stressed out because work was a lot. You know, those are normal because technically it's life. You know, they say like if you
Yeah.
want peace in life, it's like having a flat line. You're dead. But life is gonna have to. If you're alive, life goes like this. So it's gonna fluctuate, and that's the normal part. But how much fluctuation do you experience until it's not normal?
Normal, exactly.
Like, how long does it last for? Because those are short bouts of moments in time. Because, like, let's say if I'm depressed maybe for 2 days, I can feel like that's normal. It might just be because I'm stressed and I'm overwhelmed. And, like, I'm going to get over it when I look into why I'm feeling this way, why I'm sad, right? That can happen, like she said, when you have an experience of a lost loved one or somebody dumped you. Because I would be sad if somebody broke up with me, you know, just randomly on a Tuesday.
Even for
Yeah.
weeks.
You know what I'm saying?
So, in as much as it's not affecting your daily activities,
Yes. Your
yeah, we can still
functionality.
contact,
Yeah, like your functionality is not affected, then basically we won't categorize it the same way as mental illness. Because mental illness, there's nothing you really
cannot
you don't
really
function.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't function.
That's the you know, like for example, when
An
you have clinical
illness.
depression, that's when it looks like for most people here, it's like when they start to shut down, when they start to isolate. Like when they start to like, I'm just going to stay by myself. And they've been doing this for so long that it's almost like they just disappeared and you don't know what's going on with this person.
We have people that
Very
are
clear
closed in their
symptom.
room.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the
Years.
first symptoms,
Years.
really.
Years.
Not
And
answering their
nothing
phones.
can
Yeah.
bring them
Yeah.
out of their house.
Yeah.
So imagine what that person's mental trauma looks like every day.
Yeah.
Right? That you wouldn't consider that a normal fluctuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. So that's an example, people. That's an
Yes,
example.
and a very
Not
strong
saying that's what it looks like for everybody, but
But
this is
the
an
example.
example. Thank
So
you.
we're doing mental health stuff. We were talking about it, but
Oh.
it was off.
Yeah, offline.
Yeah.
Mental
do it
health
because-
is because you missed the first
The
part,
first part,
the,
yes.
the definition
Mission.
and the yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mental health does not have a particular starting point. It's just
It's with
most-
us.
It's just life.
Mental health is taking
It's
good care of
health.
yourself.
Yeah.
Holistic.
Just like physical health.
You know how you work out,
Eat food,
diet,
work
the right
out,
diets,
feel
so that your
happy.
body is like top tier.
Mm.
Same thing with mental health. The food you eat can affect even the way your brain hormones are regulated. So it can affect your mental health. How much exercise you put into your body and what you do, what activities bring you joy. You know, stuff like that can affect how you deal with everyday life and your fluctuations of life. So it's not like, oh, it just started because, 20 years ago, my mom used to hit on me. It's not like a specific
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
That can just be an add-on to other stuff, but there's no like dot filadore. Understand?
It's how you take care of yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much you nurture, if we imagine to be plants, so how much you are watering yourself,
How much
putting
stress-
nutrients in the soil, exposing yourself to the
sun.
sunlight,
Yeah.
So those things are saying to you that you are taking care of
Care of yourself.
yourself. And usually when we do that, our mental health tends to,
Be really
Right.
good.
But if we don't know anything about our needs, we always put people before
First,
us.
yep.
We don't have boundaries. We just suffer in silence. We bottle up
Suffering in
everything.
silence. Hey,
Most likely, yes, we are not doing well
Yeah.
at all, and our ment will just gradually
Okay.
deteriorate. Yeah.
okay.
And I think connecting into the definition, what affects most of the Gambian children is especially knowing your potentials. Yes, sometimes even if you know your potential, what is literally killed by your parents or your
lack of resources.
yes, lack of resources, but also them wanting you to be this person when this is what you
This
want
is
to
a
do.
very good point.
So this is also affecting a lot of people.
You cannot be
yeah.
yourself.
Siri, that one is a whole topic on
So-
itself that can take a
Yes.
whole nother hour.
So-
Because if we really need to dip like that one specifically,
discussion.
I hope we can come back here and have that episode and really dig deep into that. Because every time we bring about how
Yeah.
culture has affected the way that we move or the decisions we make, everybody wants to fight and keep the same thing. Again, it's because they become comfortable in that behavior. That's they say you get comfortable in what you know. What you don't know, you're scared of. But they're so comfortable that it's hard to remove them out of it. Like I know you're saying this now as a Black Gambian man talking, and I promise you, somebody in the comment section right now is angry that you're bringing this conversation up. They're fuming for the ears, and that's the point. I tell them, I'm like, if you're angry about it, that means the shoe fit for you. And that's my thing. The shoe must have fit. And if the shoe fit, that means you can acknowledge certain things is not right. But that in itself, I feel like is a topic on its own. That's
Yeah.
Sorry,
is a
can
topic on
I
its own.
also, because this is a very important
Point.
Yeah.
topic, and how children are raised, and what is the best way
Way,
to raise
yeah.
them. Regarding the people pleasing, I notice this a lot, that when you are young, people are always more important than you. So making people happy, making the other
Yeah.
happy, is the best way to be kind of recognized in the
Appreciated, yeah.
society. But then growing, you will understand that people are living their life,
Yeah.
and you cannot expect them that help back because just you, and even God, I used to say, is busy.
Yeah.
So unless you start to help yourself, nothing will change. Yes. So
honestly.
everything starts
Just
from
with-
ourselves.
yeah.
So when we are
Everything from
children,
ourselves.
we are in the hands of our parents
Yes,
and
yeah.
the adults. But growing up, we need to take the responsibility
Ability
for
that it's
ourselves,
ourselves,
our
yeah.
happiness, our health, and our
And the
also,
expectations from the parents also are too
Yeah.
high for a child because,
Yes.
for instance, you need to be very good to every visitor. You need to be very polite.
behave.
So
be
sometimes,
loyal,
even
be
when the
locked
visitor
down.
is visiting
Yep.
and they are not around, they don't know what happened, what transpired,
Yeah.
and then earlier. They want the next time the visitor comes, and then you are there to please
Yep.
the visitor. You make sure that you are polite.
Yeah.
But
And you may not even like the music.
sometimes probably sexual harassment and happen in those times. A visitor coming to you, they taking the child and then putting the child on your lap and all those things. It's happening a lot.
It
So
does.
the other day I was behind one woman. She was moving with her child, her girl child. I think the girl will be around 9 years or 10 years. She was saying in local language. Sumana yoni sa uncle bo deme do nango talk si boram. Ngay ñap melni matamola yuki. So it's basically like when I send you to your uncle, you don't want to sit
there,
close to him and all those things. And sometimes
Mind
you
you,
lie
that's
to me
aside.
saying that you arrived there when you didn't go there. So I wanted to rush to speak to the lady, a car stop and then pick her. So I said, I missed the opportunity. But she didn't think why the child was
reacting that way. Yep.
Yes.
So Basiro is bringing also risk factors that are really affecting the mental health in the society. Yeah.
It's happening a lot.
No, it's happening. That is something when you talk about that, for me, I think working with you guys has allowed me to have a different way of thinking of raising my child, right? Because like as a new mom, like my first thing was, oh my God, please, you will not have mommy issues or daddy issues. That is the prayer I have for you. You can have societal issues. I can't do much about that. But in the house, I will make sure that you feel heard, listened to. If you don't like somebody, you never have to deal with them personally. That's what I believe. Now, my mom does the same thing you're saying, but she doesn't when I say I don't want, she doesn't allow me around male counterparts. My mom will harass me about my aunts, my cousin, go see them, go be around them, because she wants me to have that bond, which is like what they think they are building with everybody else. But that is not the case. Because I know some uncles right now, over my dead bodies. I'm not talking about the one life I have. Over my dead bodies, if I die over and over again, I will never be around them. Because from the moment I was a child, the energy was off to me.
Yeah.
And I've always put myself on the side. Because my mom, one thing about her, if somebody does this to you, come and tell me. My mom knew she didn't do secrets. Mom said, if somebody touches you anyway that is not appropriate, come and tell me. Because my mom, one thing about her, she will fight. My dad will stand in line, but my mom will throw hands on my behalf.
But
not all parents have that. That have that self-awareness, but that's because also of her experience.
Yes.
As a young woman growing in the time that she did, she had experiences, like you said, that were had to do with sexual harassment, that she's like, my daughter has to know before that this is might happen, and that is a higher possibility as a woman of that's happening to you. So you're going to know from an early age, this is not right, so that you know that you can feel protected and guided, right? And that is what we want for other parents to understand.
Yes.
That when your child says, I don't want to be around this person, it's not necessarily because they just want to be disrespectful. Hey, what you do? Wow, the faya bate, but do many deglu, liagli and the third. I'm like, wow, ki yaru domam. Feka wo, diu domam dafa hamne ne sa jiko bahut. I'm na bena jiko bo hamne ne mom si mom yalan ko ne balkini. Follow your kids in that regard. My mom always has to say, she's like, kids don't lie. Kids will tell you the truth about a person because that is their perspective of that person. And
they are the mirrors.
And they are the mirrors. They're going to tell you straight up, this person is this and that. And
so
trust them every time.
In the same way, a child that is behaving aggressive towards an adult might also be a sign that the child has already been harassed or
experienced harassment with that adult.
From that particular adult. So these are important.
And that's why, again,
awareness.
I want to say.
Oh no, awareness, mom, is going to be something you will
bring it out.
You're going to sing a song.
That's why everybody,
I think this is why, in fact, we are very much active this month.
Yes.
So almost every day we are posting out there flyers. So what you need to do is to send a picture of yours with a little quote, or probably a story about yourself, and then you tell us your profession and all those things. So we are putting it every day on our social media, and people are reading it, and of course we believe that they will, of course, get inspired or got some tools from those things that we are posting.
I know
so we encourage all of you to send in your own pictures and then a little or a short quote.
Yeah, we have they have an Instagram, so you can just DM them on their Facebook as well and Twitter. Yes, I know there's the 3 platforms, and even just from I know how our social media looks. Obviously, so over the years we have put in that work, and over the years I have seen our page grow because there are more and more people understanding. Okay, this is actually a need. And I remember I've spent time, and I believe I've spoken to you guys about this, about how I was looking for Gambian students around the world that are studying psychology and to let them understand, yo, like, I know here may not have money, but money is not what the problem is. Right now, we need help.
Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
we need actual help. There's been, especially recently now that like there's been higher rates and higher rates of suicide. And, and I'm like, this is concerning because that's not what,
Exactly.
we know people trying to, but we don't know people actually doing it, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like, and social media allows everything to be visible.
Yeah.
And even the way they handled it when it was shown, I felt like Ines was losing her mind in my head because I saw Ines in my head saying, "This is not how you portray suicide in the media. We there's specific training." Like in my head, I'm seeing that and I'm like, I didn't mean to laugh, but I'm looking at it like, oh, Ines would rip y'all apart if she saw how y'all are portraying this. But because I was like, the things that we are, obviously, the things that you guys are training people on and the information we should have, not just for the other social workers that you guys have trained or the nurses you guys have trained. You have trained nurses and social workers all over the region. That's an
Teachers.
actual fact y'all don't know about, but they did. And they have, I've seen even the conversation we have in the group chat, the way that they handle themselves. These are people that didn't know what journaling was and they journal now. I'm telling you, they journal, they take care of each other and they take care of their patients with much more care. And that's a lot of appreciation to have. So like other people don't know this, but like they can technically still hire you guys to do training for their play people, by the way.
And I
I'm
think
gonna throw a little flex on my people.
among the people that we had trained, one story coming from one nurse, really, inspired me. He said, after attending the training on the patient-centered approach, he said, for the first time, I attended a patient without giving the patient medication. I feel happy, and I understood that the patient also is happy, and the patient haven't come back for months now to seek for medication. He said, because I took time to discuss with the patient. And that was the time I realized that the husband got a second wife, and then he's facing a lot of challenges. He said, but prior to that, he's coming to the hospital almost every month, and our doctor is giving this patient this lady a lot of money, a lot of drugs. But since that day, he said today is almost 4 months.
Hey, look at that.
And then we keep the communication. So when you look at also in research, about 43% of people that go to the hospital don't need medication. So we need to have this conversation going on.
Yes.
And this is mental health awareness. Let's keep it
we need more training. That's what we need. More training in these health
And
facilities. And because that's gonna bring in awareness. If you that's the thing. I think what that training showed for me was, yes, you may not have awareness on what you're entering because most of them just signed up because they were assigned to come in. So they didn't know what they were gonna like get there. They're just like, okay, this is a training. I might get paid this and that and the third. And they just went about it.
Suddenly it's like,
But it was exactly,
yes,
it opened up so many things about them. I remember people discussing their own trauma in that place. And I'm sitting there in my little corner, like trying not to cry because I'm just like, I understand. And we're like, so we're half of the women, half of the men in that room. And I'm just like, if we had trainings like that, it lasted 6 months, folks. It wasn't your quick 2-day training so that you can get your quick money and leave. It was a 6-month training that we had almost every month, and people came in and they learned, right? Imagine if we did that. We had extensive trainings, and we did this for all social workers. We did this for all the healthcare providers. We did this for even all of HR people.
Exactly.
Like, imagine if you did that. I promise you, people's work environments would be different. They would be better catered. People will actually have better healthcare. You will not spend as much money on medicine, even though you people were complaining about the importation of medication and how hard it is. You will need all of that because you're actually taking the time to say, okay, I just need somebody to listen to my problems. And that's what we need.
And I also want to add to that, like, sometimes, like we said, it starts with awareness, but sometimes you're not aware and you feel only that you're off. And that's already sometimes enough. Sometimes people don't know what's actually going on with them, and then they can still knock our doors, like, to open up. Or sometimes in a training to open up because they are not aware. They are aware that there are something off.
But what is off?
What is off? And that's already a reason to reach out.
So how can you like help yourself with it? Example, like you don't have someone to talk to or to go, like, some people, they just need someone to listen to them. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But how do you cope with it, like, so that it might not drain you? Because me, as I said, I pretend as I'm okay. That's how I cope with it when I'm not. But my question is that how can you fight it? Like, it's
can't.
not you can. It's normal, right?
It's normal.
It's normal,
It's
but
super normal.
But still, yes.
How do you deal?
No,
yeah,
no.
how
I,
do
I,
you
I
deal
get
with
your
it? You
question.
understand? Because it might come to a stage now you just wanna do
That's what I'm
something that you
saying.
don't want to do, commit suicide, or you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
Because
That's why I want to say, like,
so you don't have someone to
So
talk to.
then you can reach out. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
We want to break the stigma.
I mean,
I
let's
think,
say you
and
don't
I'm,
have someone to reach
Yes,
out,
of
because
course.
this is my first
to
time.
a professional.
This
That's
is,
what I mean. Not
Peace
a
of
family
mind is
member, but
available,
we are
always.
available.
You can send a
Literally.
message.
Honestly.
So
can-
the only
yes.
way you can cope is to
Talk about somebody else.
Yes.
talk about someone
Yes.
else.
Yeah, but like this is the
No.
thing.
No.
No.
There are other
The only way.
methods.
Yeah, I mean methods that
Yeah.
just
I think
Yeah, to
she
give you
mentioned.
tools to manage.
yeah.
She mentioned journaling.
Yeah.
That is something very easy,
Yeah.
very cheap, very approachable. You just take your
Little book.
notebook,
And a pen.
you start writing about yourself.
So let's say someone can't really
What is-
write. Someone can't really write. You understand?
Record it on your phone.
So you can
Voice
record
notes.
it on. You can speak in the mirror,
Yeah.
looking at yourself, but that is not enough. Of course,
Yeah.
you need to take care of your sleeping, making sure that
Your
you sleep
diet.
well, and don't even fall in the fact that I cannot sleep. And maybe you
Yeah,
are drinking
that's my
ataya until
problem.
12 o'clock. You are browsing your phone until 1 o'clock.
Looking for
So
distraction.
Imran instantly saw himself. He said,
if you don't sleep well,
smile, man.
yes, if you don't
Wow.
sleep well,
Yeah.
it's very hard for you to have a stable mood.
So imagine you
And
sleeping
then
for 4 hours.
I know you are making this difficult. Let me come.
Okay.
You might not know who to reach out. At least one person in your life
Yes. A trusted
who
person.
is trusted, who
They may
can
have problems,
listen
so-
without judgment.
Yeah.
I mean, majority of people, they have at least one.
One
You
person.
have one.
Yeah.
I have 2, 3.
Yes.
Wow,
He has people.
you're rich.
So
You already said.
that
Voila.
is to vent out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then what?
To
How to take
express.
care of yourself.
Yeah.
So start to looking at your life, your lifestyle,
Mhm.
what is okay and what is not okay. And you start to deal with what is not okay instead of pretending like everything is
Things
fine.
okay, yeah.
Instead of, because I don't want to say no because then the person will
Yeah.
react.
Yeah.
But
That's
if that is
prioritizing other
killing
people
you,
before
Which
yourself.
was
and
my
if
biggest
that is
problem.
giving you headache,
Pleasing
you need
people.
to start
Yeah.
to say no.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
no.
saying no was my biggest problem.
Problem, yeah.
But during the
Still
trainings, I came to understand that it's okay. So I
What
start
is
putting
acceptable?
boundaries.
Be
And
surprised how people will
Yes.
take it.
Yeah.
it's really working. Because sometimes someone will reach out, you are shy to say to the person,
Yeah.
no. You said, okay. But later on, you feel the pressure of trying to
having to go,
meet the need of that individual or the
I
promise
have
that
that
you have
problem
made.
sometimes.
So I have a
So,
question.
Go
yeah.
ahead.
You have mental health. You don't know who to turn to or who to go to. What does it lead after that? Like, what does it lead after that? Like, do you
That's
under-
what
If you don't, if you
yeah,
don't talk
can
to
it lead
anybody,
to taking drugs? Can it
Yes.
lead to
yes, then you
doing-
get
That's
symptoms.
what you do.
Anything.
Anything.
Because if you're not
sleepless
dealing with the
nights,
problem, doesn't
Shutting
mean the problem
down.
goes away. The
Shutting
problem is
down.
there.
Yeah.
So you're
And
going to find other
usually
ways.
it
That's when you have
distract
mechanisms.
yourself from them.
Exactly.
and that's for everybody different.
You know how people think boredom?
Distracting is one coping mechanism,
Yeah.
but it's not healthy because
No,
it's
it
not
just-
sustainable. People are watching movies,
Extending
people
of
are watching
execution.
TikTok, people are reading books,
Mindless
people are
scrolling.
making sex, people are doing so many things to distract themselves. But at the end,
There's still-
This
Yeah,
problem
the
is
problem
still
is
there.
still
Drag
there.
you. It
it's
will
better
host
to
you,
deal with
ghost
it. You don't know how to deal with it.
You come
Peace
to
of
Reach out
mind
to
is
somebody.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about it, but you can read instead of watching TikTok. There are so many nice.
So you said to deal with
resources.
it, you journal, you talk to yourself in the
It's
mirror.
That's a
These are
coping
just
It's a
strategy.
way.
These are
It's
some
a
ways
way.
to
You
think
can,
about
you
it.
can
Yeah.
express, try to express. Especially
It's to understand.
It's
I believe
inside
it's to
of
better
you.
understand yourself. That's what they mean. Because when you journal, you're talking to yourself
And you
about
reflect.
yourself. So it will allow you to look at things from a new
Yeah.
perspective.
You
That's what that
observe.
does. And then you're like, if you do it for like a week, you start to notice there are patterns of ways of thinking you have. And then you're like, oh, I'm not comfortable. I don't like this. I don't like that this is how I approach myself. Like, for example, I'll take myself. I used to have I have consistent ring of negative thought process towards myself. Like I would say like, oh, you're not doing enough. Oh, you're not good enough. You should do this better. Why didn't you do this better? Oh my God, that
Very
girl is prettier than you.
judgmental,
I'm
yes.
very judgmental towards myself. Like I'm really harsh on myself. And I remember that doesn't do well because it just breaks down my confidence and I would be sad for just no reason. It wasn't no reason. I knew the reason, but I just didn't want to deal with what I was dealing with, right? So at some point I was like, you know what? I don't like it. I don't think that's true about me. I am enough. I may not be enough for everybody, but I'm enough to myself. And that's the most important part. And it goes back to the people pleasing he was talking about. I did that all of my life. I did the people pleasing. I did the watching how everybody's emotions are gauged so that I will work on hot glass for them.
While
You understand?
yourself.
While me, I am in pain, but I work on hot glass for them because I didn't want to deal with the confrontation of expressing how I felt. Right? And we do that to this day. Like Basira talking about, I didn't want to say no to those plans. And then the closer the plans get, the more anxious I get. To this day, I have that problem. I would be like, because when I'm in a good mood, I'd be like, yes, let's go. The day before, I'm already there like, God, can you cancel this plans for me? I don't want to go. Like, I don't want anybody to be sick, but like, can you do something? Because I don't want to say no. I feel bad. Just something. And you know, it happens.
Magical barrier.
You know, magical barrier. Let me not go. Something I will make up an excuse under the sun and be like, I'm not going. Just so that I will not
That
go.
is what is happening
Mind
all
you,
the time.
I could have said no in the beginning and they would have understood.
Let me say something
What
else,
you-
Sanabu, because it's very important as well.
Yes.
So what I used to say to my clients, you know, who is the most important person of your life?
My mom.
Okay.
No.
So you were born with yourself. You are living with yourself 24 hours every day. You will die with yourself. So who is the most important person of your life?
Myself.
Exactly.
Yep.
You can say it out loud. Who?
Myself.
Thank you.
Hey, pop
So
up.
the most important relationship that we have in this life is the one with
ourselves,
ourselves.
yeah.
But we need to invest time. We need to invest resources. We need, you know, to listen to ourselves and create that best friendship. But that is what gives us the peace of mind.
Mashallah.
Because when inside we are in peace and we are okay, we have everything.
Of
What
course,
we
our
need.
mothers are very important, but we can
Sure.
be there to support them when we are able to support ourselves.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
So
If you
it will be
drop
more
down,
sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you are down mentally,
You cannot
even
help
your
your
mom
mom.
is
You cannot help
shouting
other
there, say,
people.
You cannot
oh, you
help your
complain
mom.
a lot.
Yeah.
You start nagging also towards your mom.
You know how many bad relationship I saw and I witnessed through my clients and their parents. Once you take the responsibility of yourself, of your health, you put your boundaries, everything get better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything
Oh no,
gets
it does.
better.
It does.
And like
Really.
what I also see over here, family structure, and if you ask almost everybody, every government, like who's the most important person in your life, there's always like my mom, and all respect to the mothers.
Yeah.
You know, women
I
are
know, don't worry.
great,
I'm not trying
but
to trauma a lot.
every person is really the most important person for yourself,
Yeah.
because if you drop down
Yeah.
or you get mental illness, you cannot serve your mom.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You understand?
Yeah.
So everybody is their own
Yeah.
most important
Best
person
friend.
in
Oh no, I'm
the
selfish about that
world.
now. I'm very selfish about that now.
Can you Can you diagnose someone? I don't die. What's the word again?
Diagnose.
Someone.
That goes in
Can
the
you tell?
intake.
Okay, this guy is this
Is
person
going through
is
this.
doing this. Can
That's
you?
her job.
Yeah, usually I don't like to diagnose
Diagnose.
people because I deal
Label.
with people
Label.
and it's just like labeling people, putting people in a
In a
box,
box,
you
yeah.
know. So usually I don't do that because also I don't deal with medication, you know. Maybe the
Mostly no.
doctors
So there's
can do that.
medication for that without just consulting the person. So
No, that's
Oh,
what
no,
they like
there's
to
You are
do.
looking for
That's
the
what they
easy
like to
fix.
do, but we
Yeah.
You
don't
are
do
looking
that.
for the easy fix.
Yes.
The
It's a
easy
quick fix.
The quick fix is the medication.
It doesn't exist.
some extent.
Maybe sometimes in
For
combination,
some-
but it doesn't fix nothing. It
I
doesn't
think for
fix nothing.
some cases, you do need medicine to help you bring you back so that you can have those
normal, yes.
If you're in
conversations.
a psychosis
And
or
yeah, when you're going
something.
through psychosis, you may need medication to bring you back so that you can have those conversations. But if you're not dealing with the deep-rooted issue of why you are the way that you are or behaving the way that you are,
Yeah, if you don't
it's gonna
change
keep there.
something, you will.
It will always you repeat the
It
pattern.
will
You can
stay.
be okay for about 2 years, and then the third year you're
So
back.
the effective one is just consulting someone who is.
Yeah,
really-
go
The
into
effective
the
one is
root.
facing yourself,
Yeah.
basically.
Facing yourself, taking care of yourself, trying to, to
So how
journal.
can someone now face himself? Like,
With
This
a
is a
professional.
process. You want the quick fix. You want us to give you the magical like this.
now give me
It's not
like
possible.
two doors that I can just
I think
open.
already they gave you
Probably your
enough.
best
friend. They gave me
The
the-
journaling.
they gave me journaling.
Here's
Now
for
you
your
start
best friend.
from
We're going to talk to
today,
people.
you start to hey, peace of mind is something there. So
Yeah.
you need to
Walk it.
Work.
It's like climbing up a hill.
We cannot fix you like that.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
climbing up a hill. Before you get to the top of
And
the
let's
hill,
tell
you
you
gonna
also
sweat.
something.
Energy, commitment.
Yes.
Yes.
And let
Because
me
you
also
had it.
say
It's
something.
a process.
It's to get again the stigma and taboo off of it. It's also something fun sometimes to do. People see like looking for help is like, oh, I'm sick, I'm not normal, I'm crazy, or no. Sometimes it's really to get to know yourself better, to become
receive
better
love.
and to grow
Yeah.
and to become stronger and more confident and shine and become brighter and become more clearer. Yeah,
It does
to
a
have
lot
more
to
self-love.
take care of yourself.
So it's
It does.
always for the better for yourself. It's not an easy road.
No,
it's not.
But
let's imagine
nice.
that your best friend comes here with a very severe issue, severe situation. I'm sure you will show so much love, so much understanding, so much compassion, and so much everything, right?
Definitely.
Can you do the same with yourself?
No.
Why? Is it that you don't deserve it? Or maybe you don't.
Ibrahima, let's unpack.
You are not used
Ladies
to that.
and gentlemen, this is what a session could look like.
Sylvia, that's remind me. Yesterday, my cousin was telling me about a particular situation he was facing in a relationship.
Yeah.
And he said he went to his best friend, and then explained to him. When he explained, he said, huh? So he said he fucked up.
Not all the best friends, behave the same, of course.
So he said he feel lost, and then he don't know if
made
I
it
want to go.
worse. No, honestly. But sometimes we all have that one friend. Like that one friend you should not tell serious issues to
He
because
said when
they will not.
that guy shouted, in fact, he feel discouraged. I said that this is not.
I would feel discouraged too, Sha. I would.
No, I'm talking about good best friends.
Where you feel safe.
Proper best friends.
But the way that Sylvia was kind of talking to Ibrahima, that's an example of what a session could look like, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's about, they're going to ask questions that reflect, and you can ask questions back so that you can kind of look at yourself from a bigger perspective than you normally would. Because, I like to say that kids are a little narcissists, but when you grow older, you still have that narcissistic side of yourself that where like everything that happens is like, it's me, I'm the problem. And you look at yourself in that lens of I'm the problem, whereby, okay, maybe my boundaries were not clear and this person crossed them. And even after I stated it, this person crossed the boundary again. That's something I've had to work through where it's like, I have to tell people, okay, this is my boundary. Yeah. You have one chance. I don't do twice. You cross it once, I will not repeat it again because that means you have taken the choice upon yourself that my boundaries don't matter to you. And I can make the choice to say, I no longer want to continue this relationship because this relationship is not healthy for me. And that is something I feel like people don't like to do because also in our culture, there's a lot of fear when it comes to abandonment issues. We have a lot of abandonment issues. And I don't blame them. We have a lot of people that the parents thought that he had left. So a lot of abandonment issues there and a lot of fear of rejection. We have a lot of fear for rejection. And that's not just Gambia, that's mostly a lot of people all over the world. But in Gambia, it's actually insane because you can reject somebody for one small thing. And it's not to say everything else about you is bad. It's just this little thing, I don't want it for myself. And instantly they see themselves. They're like, oh, kira for real, kira for bon, this person's bad. They're not good to me. Wow, they have Jiko, they like this and that and the third. Mind you, all I said was, I don't like the way that you smell sometimes. It may just be your cologne I don't like. And you're already offended and you've made it this thing in your mind that it's about you and I hate you. When there's nothing about you I want to have.
Very personal.
Very personal. And even when it comes to our parents, and this is personal, I could tell y'all this feeling. I have that issue with my parents because my household, they know one thing about me. I'm going to tell you the truth about how I feel. You can accept it or you cannot. And if you don't accept it, do not blame me for how I respond. That's my rule in my house. I tell my mom this.
So
and my mom,
people want you to stay, even if you are suffocating.
They want you to stay suffocating. Because when you're suffocating, you are comfortable. No, when you're suffocating, it makes them comfortable.
It's nice. It's a good metaphor.
Yeah.
Suffocating.
No, because when you're suffocating, they're comfortable.
That's what it is.
Like when you're suffocating, they are comfortable in the household because they're like, okay, I tell them what to do and they still do it. I tell them to move this way and they still move it. When most of us, even the kids, were like, we're trying to keep it kumbaya for their sake and not ours. The moment my brain went to, okay, who am I keeping the peace for? And my brain said, for them, I said, over my dead body, I need to choose the peace for myself. I will argue. My mom, to this day, you ask her, how was your daughter the first time when she came up? She said, I thought she was mad. I was going to take her to Tanka myself because she would argue with me every day. And I said, no, you got used to the version of me that complied with you because I chose your joy over my own. And the new version that came with me, nah. She said, look, you can either love me or hate me. That's your choice. If you have that choice, that's your cool. That's cool. That's on you. But I also have a choice to say, I don't like how you treat me. I don't like how you talk to me. And if you can please talk to me in a way that is, because obviously you're gonna try to your parents, you're gonna talk to them as respectfully as possible. Even if I talk to a Gambian parent respectfully, they be like, kida fa real, kida fa yabate, mine man la mo hehal. Yeah, because they already, it's personal.
It's personal.
It's personal. And that goes back to they didn't have the awareness, because in their minds, like Sylvia said, if the basic needs are taken care of, nothing else should be wrong with you.
Yes.
If you have food, a roof over your head, close to wear, nothing else should be wrong with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but no, there is.
It is.
The attention you didn't give me is a problem. The love I didn't get when I was younger is a problem. The consistency of what you had to do to get us comfortable. Yes, I'm grateful that you did that and now we are comfortable, but you missed out on all the chances to get to know me. And for me to get to know you as a parent, because then I would have had better understanding, more sympathy. I would have had better empathy for you had I understood what you were going through. But parents don't want to talk to their kids about what's happening because we'd rather keep it a secret. And then years later, your kids have actually developed this feeling of resentment towards you. Whole time, you could have solved the problem.
Yes.
You could have solved the problem, and you chose like, you know what? No, like it's not for the kids. I'm like, you'll be surprised. Us, the kids, we remember everything y'all did.
Yeah.
Every single thing. We didn't forget not one thing.
I want to give another tip. We call it like that.
Yes, let's call it tips.
So you can have more and more things to start to use.
Oh, I thought
So we spend a lot of time
Thinking.
thinking,
In the hand.
right? And to the point that we think that we are our mind, right? But I want to tell you that we are not our mind. So you can actually observe your mind and you can actually reason with your mind and decide what to think. For example, I have a very negative thought. I can reason with it and decide that this thought is not helpful for me. I want to change it. I want to, to move to a more positive one. I want to reason with it. So again, this of course costs a lot of effort and energy, but that is how we build our peace of mind again. So it's something that we should do. We cannot, because the mind naturally goes to the negative
thing,
side. And one negative thought is there, another one will come because we just stay there with our attention and we nurture it, and a bigger one and a bigger one, and then our feelings will be affected, and then our mood will be, and then it's just like a spiral, right? So as soon as the negative, or as soon as a thought, but again awareness. So just like watching television, we see the thought coming, we can decide, do I like this channel? When you're on the television, you decide what to watch, right? So we can do the same with our mind. We can decide what to listen to.
That's easier said than done. No.
You change the channel.
It's easier said than done.
Exactly.
No, because you can have.
It's possible.
Yeah, it is possible, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah,
because, like, let's take it. Okay,
Yes,
we are here. We do the work. We can have all the information, and even within our own unit, there are people that still have that same problem.
Yes, of course.
And it's like she said, it takes a lot of work, and it's not like a quick couple of months. It's a couple of years.
Yes.
It might take work, bro.
It depends, of course. It's for everybody different.
Yeah.
But
I'm still working on that.
It's a tool. It's a tool
Yes.
for in the beginning.
But it's like, okay.
Overcoming the negative thoughts. And I think even you did mention it here. Sometimes when thoughts comes and you said, look, I'm not going to be in line with you this time around. Let me just focus on this.
Yes,
So you can actually shift from
the attention.
the attention from the negative thoughts to the positive thoughts. Like for instance, if you look at yourself and say that, I don't believe I can make it. This is a thought coming to you. But that might not be the reality. You say, no.
Let me try.
I'm still young and I still have the opportunity. I can push.
Yeah. Oh, so
Why
it's
not?
basically don't give the power.
Don't
you
give the power
to
of those negative thoughts.
Yeah. You give power to those thoughts.
Yes.
So give
Of
power
course,
to the
tell
right
them
thoughts.
that you have
for you.
options.
Okay.
Options are there.
I like how you guys said that.
Yes.
See, now I'm looking back into myself.
But
'cause
some
obviously-
negative thoughts are there.
Hey,
They are
they're
very
powerful.
heavy. Yes, and that's why I want to jump in.
Look for
nurture
that.
them.
But that's why I also want to jump in.
Yeah.
Sometimes negative thoughts can create anxiety or panic attacks, and then it becomes very difficult
Yeah.
Yeah.
to shift
Get out of
the
it.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to get out of the head, we have to go to the body. But also that's a tool to learn. But that is really a symptom.
Yeah.
That is really a symptom. So what Sylvia said, like before, if you are very judgmental about yourself or very negative, you still have a little bit of the choice. Like, okay, you know, the same thoughts coming. Like, I cannot make it today. You cannot do it. You can train yourself. Like, no, I can do it. You know, just fake it till I make it, and I will do it. But if you really have like stress symptoms, like panic attacks or anxiety, that's already a little bit of a red flag that you can
need to ask for
reach
help.
out
Mhm.
to
Professionals.
professionals to, you know,
Give you help.
help yourself and get in the positive mindset and a state of being.
Oh, I like how you said that. Positive mindset in a
And
state of being.
being. Yes.
No, because honestly, I might need another therapy session myself. Because
Of
I
course.
know, like
We
when you guys came over
sometimes
to the
like-
house was when I realized, okay, maybe I am pushing some things under the rug. Because I remember when Sophia was asking certain questions, I was just sitting there like, have not dealt with these issues. Like I realized, okay, I just went from, let's say for example, I just went from pregnancy to birth, and I just felt like I was
can't
moving
even
in like a speed racing show that I just like I never caught up, if that makes sense. Like my brain is like here and then life is like all the way in Banjul, and I'm just like, what is happening? Like I'm trying to catch up. And you never truly catch up. And I remember when we were talking, I was just like, oh wow. I never really tell people the experience I had and what that experience did to me. And like I'm just there like, how many women feel the same way I do? Because a lot of us seem like we were catching up. And a lot of my friend group, we were all praying around the same time. Again, I don't know what was happening in the air of 2024, but it's like all the men had a meeting and said, everybody getting a baby. Like it was like God was like,
But the
you
meeting
get a
wasn't
baby,
in
you
your
get a
absence.
baby, you get a baby. It was like an Oprah show of
I said the
pregnancies.
meeting wasn't in your absence.
No, it was not in my presence. Because me, I was not there. See me, I was out here saying, God, look, give me another 2 years. Let me do other things. I'll catch up. God said, you get a baby, your friend get a baby, your cousin get a baby, your 3 cousins get a baby. Everybody gets a baby. Like, I was going from naming ceremony to naming ceremony. I was just there like, we need to discuss this. But I realized all of us kind of went through different births, different kids. And we're like, but the emotional trauma of not like catching up and like fully like understanding, especially a lot of us were first time moms. We didn't know like what is happening. Like we're trying to catch up and we're just there like, when is this going to stop so that I could catch up? Like, it's like, I'm trying to run, but it's running further away. What is happening? So I was like, I'm grateful that you guys came and brought that like awareness in for me. So like other moms, if you need help, please reach out to Peace of Mind, because trust me, you need help. I'm gonna tell you, you don't want to accept it, but I'm gonna tell you we do. And because it's like, how do you balance it out? Because I look at moms differently now. Because I'm just like, y'all better than me. Yeah. Y'all balancing sleep, waking up, working, taking care of kids, taking care of a household. Yeah. I'm like, I can only do one thing. Yeah. I take care of the kid. Me, on the other hand, if I sleep, it's cool. If I shower, it's cool. I'm not judging myself too hard. And I'm grateful that because of this, I understand I don't need to judge myself too hard. Because I realize, like, my mom looks at me like I'm crazy because she was working right after she gave birth. She was going back her business. She's like, you could do this, you could do that. And I'm like, no. This sounds like abuse. I'm not doing it. It sounds like manual labor and abuse. I'm not doing it. I'm not partaking. I'm like, a human being just came out of me, Lord. What am I doing? I'm staying at home. I feed him. I take care of him. I take care of myself. I am not doing any manual labor in this house until it's needed. When our maid ran away was when I started doing manual labor. I realized I might like cooking again. I don't know yet. Yeah. It might change. Everything but I'm doing everything at my own pace. And because also I have the privilege of dealing with somebody that, like, with a baby that does not consistently, like, hound me. And he's good with everybody. So my house will just come and take him and go. Yeah. That's how, like, he is. Like, they will just come and pick him up. He's cool with everybody. So they just pick him up and go so I could do other things. And I realized a lot of people don't have that. You
understand the realities.
Yeah, they don't have that help. No, but I have friends in America right now suffering, like real suffering, because they didn't have community, like you were stating earlier, community to help them with the
Europe.
Oh no, girl, that's the Europe and American babes. They know who I'm talking to. They're watching this. I'm sorry, I'm putting your business out there, but you be all right. Yes. So they're going through that, and I'm like, yes, we have a lot of mental issues in our community, obviously, and in our culture. But also we do have certain times where our culture comes in clutch. That's the, the slang, but it's like our culture comes in and helps us when we need it the most. That community will pull through. I saw that community pull through for me in my friend group, in my cousins, in my mom, my aunts. Everybody pulled up for me in a way I've never seen them. And mind you, in my head, I just be like, man, these people just like to throw a party. That's how they are. Like they will wedding and get there every day if they could, respectfully. But like, I was like, but who do I talk to with these issues I'm dealing with? Because my mom does not give, I can talk to you. Because, that generation is a generation of, we are the strong women,
Yeah.
Nothing can break us down. We will walk with the men. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm a delicate flower in the garden. I don't know what that is.
And that's
I
still
just want to be babied. I don't want to do this, But like also our mental health is there. Like, and I saw mine degrading and going up and going down and going up and going down. And what Sylvia said earlier really stuck with me. Is like, it's gonna happen and that's normal. And I feel like my brain needed to hear that is normal.
Yeah.
That I don't have to have it together all the
And
time.
sometimes that's the only thing that you need to hear. Sometimes if you're going through
The
a
motions.
different
Yeah.
episode or a new episode
Yeah.
from a professional that you are okay. It's okay not to be,
To be
okay.
okay,
That's life.
Those
Again.
healing statement or
Yes.
validating
Yes.
statement and are very important in
No, honestly,
all what we
the
do.
mantras come in. When you see me like, I can do this. And you're like, when you just say it with more louder, I can do this. And then you're crying, but you're like, I can do this. And then you hear somebody yell at you, be like, it's okay, I can still do this. And you have to, like, you have that. And that's important. So I'm like, I'm grateful that I got to meet you guys and I got to work with you guys in the way that I did. So thank you guys for joining us and doing this. We're going to have a part 3, hopefully, or another part on a session on culture and how that influences our mental health.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that one. That one we can have a whole presentation. So you guys now know ahead of hand. Okay.
That's right.
Yes, because I know you guys have been doing this study on how mental health looks like in Gambia. So I would like when you guys, hopefully when that is done, you guys will have that conversation. Even if it's not on Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
We always have space for that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's important for me when it comes to doing this job is to make sure that we're talking about the conversations everybody's uncomfortable with.
Yes.
Like they say
Yeah,
hot in the city, but hot in the city is the uncomfortable conversations. So let's talk about it. Let's kind of put it out
We
there
will
and
also
see.
have as peace of mind some event on
Yeah.
awareness during
Oh, see?
the month. So
Oh,
if
follow
you
them
follow
on
our social
media.
media, POM
Yeah.
Gambia,
Yes.
we will drop the
Yeah.
link.
Yeah, it's POM Gambia
Gambia.
So,
on
yeah.
every social media
Fine.
platform.
Peace of mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So peace
I
of
think,
mind.
the conversation is very important. We might think that the people are not listening or people are not
they
willing
are.
to change, but they are.
They're tired.
Because I could
Yeah.
remember 2 weeks ago, we were at Teranga, and when the line was open for people to call, we have a lot of people calling and then acknowledging what we are talking about as an issue in the society, especially women. Some were crying.
Yeah.
So that tells you, now how many people are out there in need of this. So let's keep the conversation going on. But also in this month, I want to see your team, everyone sending the picture, and then also with the
Y'all heard?
So participate in this.
No, I will.
Of course,
I
we will
will.
send you about the flyers, and then also you can post it on
No
your
problem.
status and so
We
on.
would
So,
love
of
that.
course,
We
yeah.
would love that.
Thank
We
you,
would love that.
Sanabu,
Thank you
eh?
so much for
Thank you
coming.
so
And we
much.
appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day.
Yeah.
So everybody reach out at Palm Gambia on all social media platforms.
Peace of mind.
Yes.
And it's good to have peace of mind.
And start
trust
to
me.
work on that.
Yes.
All right.
And if there's, other Gambian students that have done psychology and you want to reach out and understand how it looks like in the Gambia, I'm telling you, Europe and Gambia is very different. Very different. How it looks like in the Gambia. So you can come and reach out to them because they have first-hand experience. So thank you guys
Thank
again
you.
so much for joining me.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very
Have a good
much.
afternoon. Peace out. That was another episode.
Thank you.